Let's start our list with the most bizarre isolated tribes that have ever been contacted and work our way down to the most lethal of them all. Number 10, the Caribs tribe. These people originally came from the northeastern part of South America, near the Orinoco River in what is now Venezuela. Ever heard of cannibals? They're folks who eat other people. Believe it or not, there are still folks living on Caribbean islands who used to practice cannibalism. They were skilled navigators and seafarers, which helped them mitigate northward along the Lesser Antilles to the Caribbean islands. Known as Caribs, this name was actually given to them by European invaders, and the Kalinago people eventually adopted it. These people were called the Caribs, and they were probably the world's first cannibal group. Their habits spread to other parts of the world, earning them a reputation as one of the most dangerous tribes ever. Columbus even gave them a name, Caribs. Another word for them, Cannibal, basically means people who eat people. Wild, right? The Caribs are indigenous to the Caribbean region and are known for their fierce and aggressive nature. European colonizers call them cannibals, but this was likely a mistranslation of the Carib word for to eat. The Europeans didn't understand the language and assumed it meant cannibal. There's also a chance that the claims of cannibalism were just a way for the invaders to justify taking over the Carib people's island. Number 9, the Papuan tribe. Did you know there are about 312 tribes living in West Papua? It's an Indonesian territory on the island of New Guinea, near Australia. Many of these tribes are still a mystery, with some never having had contact with the outside world. According to Australian news, the more connected tribes often talk about these isolated groups up in the highlands. These highland tribes grow sweet potatoes and farm pigs to get by. The Papuan people are different from the Indonesians, who now control the area, and there's often conflict between them. Those living in the lowlands survive in swampy, mosquito-filled coastal areas by hunting and gathering. Since Indonesia took over in 1963, the Papuans have had a tough time. The Indonesian military has a bad record of human rights abuses against them. Despite all this, the Papuans are self-sufficient when it comes to food, mainly relying on farming and pig raising. Pork and yams are staples in their diet. Pretty impressive how they manage it, right? Number 8, the Agori tribe. The Agori tribe has around 70 members and is based in Uttar Pradesh, India. They are known to practice a distinct and intense form of Hinduism, including unique post-mortem rituals. While most people hold simple burial rituals, the Agoris take it a step deeper by smearing ashes all over their bodies, dwelling in cremation grounds, and even eating the flesh from dead bodies. Yes, you heard that right. Human skulls have been used as jewelry and accessories. They believe that it has brought them luck and blessings. They probably had to dig up their ancestors' graves years later, pick up a pinky and say, "This should work for an earring." Yeah, creepy much. The Agori of the present trace their origins to Baba Kinaram, who was said to have lived for 150 years and died in the second half of the 18th century. He is regarded as an incarnation of Shiva, and his birth is marked by several miraculous signs, including being born with a complete set of teeth, a rare phenomena, and a sign of spiritual power. It was said that Baba Kinaram did not cry or consume his mother's milk for 3 days after his birth. On the 4th day, his family was visited by 3 monks believed to be incarnations of the Hindu gods Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, marking a significant turning point in his early life. After the visit, he cried and accepted his mother's milk. The Agoris are the holy men of death, who live on the edge of life and death and live in isolation from modern society. Number 7, the Palawan tribe. The Palawan people are from the southern parts of Palawan Island in the Philippines. There are about 40,000 of them, according to Survival, but those living deep in the interior are pretty isolated and don't have much contact with the outside world. They practice shifting cultivation, moving their farmlands around to let the forest regenerate. But lately, open pit and strip mining have been threatening their way of life. In northern Palawan, there's a tribe called the Batak, with only around 300 people. They've had a tough time with low rice yields because the government has put restrictions on their shifting cultivation. The Palawans live in both the mountainous interior and the lowlands of the island, and some of them are very isolated, rarely seeing outsiders. Mining in Palawan has caused a lot of problems. It's destroyed forests, caused floods, messed up rivers and farmland, and even ruined sacred sites. So, if you've ever thought about visiting, you should know that these folks are dealing with some serious challenges. And if you think you're going to stumble upon them during a hike, think again. They're not exactly hosting any meet and greets. Number 6. Waorani Tribe. In 1956, 5 evangelical Christians from the United States decided to journey into the depths of the Amazon rainforest in search of the Waorani people. The Waorani tribe, located within the Ecuadorian Yasuni National Park, had never been contacted. However, this brave group of men decided the best thing to do was to journey from America and introduce a new God to them. The contact was complex, and there were many misunderstandings on both sides, which was to be expected. Although when they arrived they came bearing gifts, the natives, although weary, still accepted the gift with excitement because, well, who doesn't like a freebie? With the evangelists at ease to welcome well done, they laid their guard too soon, as in the dead of the night, some of the tribe warriors made their way to their tent and brutally speared them to death. A search party was conducted, and their dead bodies were found floating on the banks of a river. Nobody knows the exact reason for the sudden hostility, but it is speculated that the 5 men had set up camp too close to a Waorani settlement. The Waorani people are said to be fiercely territorial, attacking anyone who tries to enter their lands, including other Waorani. They maintain a solid in-group and out-group distinction between relatives of the tribe and other people unrelated to them, and they have been known to kill plantain workers and explorers who come too close. The tribe's primary source of survival is hunting monkeys and other small animals with spears and blowguns. Tree climbing is a vital skill for hunting monkeys, and members consider it crucial. They probably haven't heard of Ebola. However, the long-standing practice of climbing trees has caused the Waorani people to experience different forms of physical adaptation to their feet, including flattened and extra toes. Number 5. The Koi Tribe. Buried deep in the forest of Indonesia is the Koi Tribe, an indigenous tribe that is completely isolated from any form of modern civilization. But due to the high mortality rate caused by jungle diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, and severe anemia, most of them do not live past 50, as they have no immunity to fight these illnesses. However, these deaths are blamed on an evil demon they call Kakua, who is said to take the form of their loved ones to kill and eat the flesh of the tribe's people. If anyone dies from malaria or anemia, Kakua is blamed. And to stop the demon, the Koi people capture, kill, and eat the flesh of anyone suspected of being possessed, meaning they kill and eat a suspected loved one of the sick person. To identify the Kakua amongst them, the dying victim would mention the name of the person he suspects as the one eating his flesh from the inside. If you were unfortunate enough to live in this village, you wouldn't want to be on the bad side of your cousin. Although the cannibalism of the Koi tribe has reduced significantly, partly in reaction to several incidents with the police, it is believed that many of the tribe's people are still murdered and eaten each year. Number 4. Asara Mudman Tribe. The Asara Mudman tribe is located on New Guinea Island. While these natives look like deadly killers, they actually aren't. They are also known as the Hosa, which literally means ghost. You shouldn't be surprised by this, as they take Halloween costumes to another level. They basically rock it every day. Their costumes include covering themselves from head to toe in gray mud and wearing hideous, demonic-looking masks. They then elongate their fingers with bamboo sticks and move in a slow rhythmic pattern that resembles a spiritual dance. You definitely don't want to wander alone in the dark and stumble upon these people. The Asara Mudmen adopted this appearance to intimidate and scare their enemies, avoiding war and conflict. During an attack by another tribe, they hid in the Asara River, emerging covered in gray mud. The attackers, believing they were ghosts of past Asara people, fled in fear. The Asara Mudmen realized this was an effective way to avoid conflict and continued this odd tradition. The masks were made by skilled craftsmen who ensured they were all unique and different. Some masks had horns, tusks, and fangs, while others were painted and decorated with various colors. The bottom line is that the masks should be as scary as possible. Number 3. Asmat Tribe. With an estimated population of about 65,000 people, the Asmat tribe is notorious for its historical practices of headhunting and cannibalism. This group of people lives on a small island in Papua, a province of Indonesia. The Asmat engage in ceremonial practices that involve killing and consuming the brains and flesh of their enemies. Disgusting, right? Not to sound all gross and stuff, but all of the parts, the brain, hopefully they will at least cook it. Well, still gross. This weird activity was part of complex cultural rituals where the empty skulls of victims were used as pillows and bowls. This is definitely one strange and funny tribe. The Asmat believed that by killing and eating another person, they could absorb his power and name, thus becoming like him. It will surprise you to know that every Asmat person is named after either a deceased tribe member or an enemy they hunted and ate. Also, names were given to children only after they completed their first successful hunt. The question probably on your mind is, what if they weren't able to catch a rabbit? Well, they probably leave the child nameless. Who knows? Their belief system holds that they come from wood and regard the forest as sacred. They also have a rich tradition of carving wooden relics, including detailed statues and sculptures. While there is historical evidence of cannibalism and headhunting, these practices are no longer representative of the Asmat people today. Number 2, San people. The San people, also known as Bushmen, have existed for over 20,000 years and are descendants of early Stone Age ancestors. They're believed to be the first dwellers in South Africa and are renowned for their hunting skills and nomadic lifestyle. They lived under rocky overhangs, mountains, and caves and were formidable trackers, capable of following animal trails across virtually any surface. Sand hunters used poison-tipped arrows obtained from the larvae of small beetles, snake venom, and plants. Despite their extensive knowledge of herbs and toxins, they were still vulnerable to the poison. Why make it poison when you sure can find an antidote to it? So when consuming meat from a hunted animal, the area where the arrow stuck is always cut out and discarded. If I were a San Francisco hunter, I would rather not use the poison arrow to catch game, because duh. The San tribe at that time believed in a powerful god named Kagan, who they believed could assume many forms, including a praying mantis, a snake, and even a vulture. They also worshipped the moon and paid homage to their ancestors through offerings and sacrifices. But during the wars with Europeans, their numbers began to significantly reduce, as they were vastly outnumbered and outgunned. They could not stand a chance against the Europeans' horses and firearms, despite their courage. Number 1, North Sentinel Tribe. The top spot goes to the North Sentinelese from North Sentinel Island. The Sentinel tribe is known for its strict isolationism and often reacts aggressively to unauthorized intrusions into their territory. Well, despite the ban, there have been instances of unauthorized entry, but unfortunately, with fatal outcomes. In 2006, 2 Indian fishermen who had been illegally fishing for crabs moored their boat near Sentinel Island and fell asleep. Their boat unfortunately drifted into the dark waters and onto the Forbidden Island's shores. When the tribe warriors found these 2 strangers on their part of the island, the fishermen were brutally killed, and their bodies were displayed as a warning to other wanderers. And just in the year 2018, an American missionary was mercilessly killed after repeatedly attempting to make contact with the Sentinelese tribe despite warnings. His persistence in trying to convert them led to his fatal encounter. They feared that any contact could lead to the extinction of their people due to a lack of immunity against common diseases like flu and malaria. Still, a lack of immunity doesn't warrant the loss of innocent lives. The stories of these tribes show us how different and complex human societies can be. However, what might look strange or scary to us is typical for these tribes. In the end, the Deadliest isolated tribe isn't just about the number of lives they have taken, but also about how they have survived deadly conditions to keep their traditions alive despite modern world pressures. Their survival shows their incredible strength and resilience.